Warning: Me Time and Murder is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Oh, for God's sake, here
Dancing
it goes.
around him, reciting poetry. Yes.
Oh my God! That's crazy.
No. Why? Oh, well, big surprise.
Oh God. Dead on the bathroom floor.
Did it? Okay. Oh.
Trez, what are you drinking?
Today I'm drinking the Barry's decaf tea with milk.
Nice.
Going old school today. What are you drinking?
I am drinking my grapefruit iced tea with mint.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
And what about your me time?
For me time, I'm doing a hair mask. I'm doing the Pantene Intense Frizz Tamer. What about you? What are you using?
I have got a JM Solution face mask on. Now, so Trez, today we have got a very special favourite listener supporter. I don't know how to say it. So we have got a new Patreon? We've got a new patron of Me Time and Murder.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Thank you.
We actually have 2 new patrons. That means we've got 3 so far. So now Me Time and Murder is officially breaking even.
Love it.
Yeah. No longer in the red. So this Stephanie Leader is our patron for this episode, and she has requested that we do the acid bath murderer.
Oh yes, that's right. When I seen that, I got super excited.
Yeah.
It sounds like an awesome recommendation.
It is good.
Okay. It's, well, like when I say awesome, I mean like awesomely scary, which is good because it's Halloween today.
Oh yeah, we're recording on Halloween.
Very
yes.
appropriate, yeah.
Do you know anything about this guy?
I do not, and I feel like I should because it sounds like a flippin' name of a movie.
Doesn't it?
Is it Ireland or
We're in England today.
England? Okay.
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
We're at Lincolnshire, I think.
Oh,
No, wait, London.
Lincolnshire.
London.
Oh, okay.
I love
say Lincolnshire. I always think of Lincolnshire sausages.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we're in London. Okay. Yeah. Weird stuff like this would happen in London, wouldn't it?
I know. Acid bath murder, it makes me think of like Jack the Ripper type of...
Yeah. It also made me think of Breaking Bad.
Oh my God, yes! Oh,
yeah.
That episode, I knew I was going to love Breaking Bad.
That was quite early on in the show,
it was like
yeah.
the second episode, I think.
It was really intense,
God,
yeah.
It's like, what am I watching? Remember Daddy refused to watch it?
Yeah, well, you see, it was really intense up front, so I think they thought it was going to be like that the whole way through. It kind of was.
Yeah. I was like, no, Daddy, you
to
have to like bear through it. You can get through it. Anyway, let's just jump into it because we've got it's a meaty one today.
Apologies about my voice, guys, as well. I got some kind of flu. It's not COVID. I've done a test, but we're just going to have to bear with me.
I don't think you can get COVID through your headphones anyway, so...
Yeah, we'll be okay.
Okay, so John Haigh Jr. was an only child, born on the 24th of July 1909, so we're going way back. Born in Lincolnshire and grew up in a little village called Outwood in Yorkshire. I don't know where those places are, but they're in England somewhere.
I know, I've heard of them.
Yorkshire tea!
Oh, Yorkshire tea.
That's the best tea.
Tea and sausages. Oh, God, I love England.
He had a mother, Emily, and a father, John Haigh Sr., who was a talented engineer. John Sr. and Emily were devout members of the Plymouth Brethren, an extremely strict and conservative Protestant sect. Have you heard about these guys?
Don't think so. Wait, say the name again, what are they?
Plymouth Brethren.
Nah.
No. Like the others who were brought up in the Brethren sect, John was brought up in a fanatically religious household where references to the Lord were frequently used, reminding the young John that he was always being observed by a higher power, disapproving and vengeful power. So this like very strict Christian it messed John up a lot.
Okay.
So John Senior, his dad, pointed to this bluish scar he had on his own forehead, and he told John Junior that in his youth he had been marked by the devil for sinning. I know.
Probably like a birthmark or something.
I think so, yeah. His mother was not marked, as his mother never sinned.
Sure she didn't.
The young John Jr. soon became obsessed over every little error or misdemeanor, terrified of developing a similar sign of the devil. According to John Sr., the world was evil, and the family needed to keep themselves protected and separated, so he built a 6-foot-tall fence around the garden.
Oh dear God.
So dramatic, right?
How, 6 foot?
That's the height of your boyfriend.
Something like that,
Yeah. Jaren's 6'2". He could just about see over
could peek out.
He could peek out.
Jeez, that's a bit intense, isn't it?
Isn't it? Can you imagine?
But it also makes me think they could get up to dodgy things as well.
I know, you're sort of... Are you
'Cause they're
keeping people
hidden.
out, or are you keeping yourself
Yeah,
in?
exactly. Mm-hmm.
Because of this big barricade around his house, poor little John Jr. had a very lonely childhood. His only... I know. His only friends over the 20-odd years he lived at home were his few pets and the neighbour's dog.
Stop. So he was a single only child?
Yes.
Oh, God. Wait, but what about friends at school?
I don't think he made any friends at school.
Okay.
Yeah. Sad. John was only allowed to play the piano for fun.
Yeah, it's fun to a point, like.
I know.
Okay.
Classically trained, Christian music, of course, he could only practice.
Oh, stop.
And he was actually, like, really good, and he even, like, went to concerts, and he was so talented that he won a scholarship for a grammar school. So,
No way.
yeah.
Well, if that's all you had to do was play the piano all the time, you would be pretty good at it.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I don't understand why. It's about to get real dark. I just like...
Okay.
It just seems...
But it sounds like you could have had a promising future with the whole piano thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
However, the pressure from his religious parents and the Brethren sect was never far from John's mind. John claimed that as a young boy, he suffered from reoccurring religious nightmares.
God.
According to John, his childhood nightmare went like this. It was him standing outside, surrounded by crucifixes. As he looked at the crucifixes, they grew tall and morphed into trees. He now stood...
What?
I know.
What age is he?
I think he's like
a boy?
10. Yeah, he's a boy. He now stood in a forest. The air became moist, and dew appeared, or perhaps it was rain. It was dripping off the branches. As he approached the dripping branches to look closer, that's when he realised the dripping was blood. The whole forest became darker. The trees started to move and writhe in pain and ooze blood. John could see a man in the forest. He was going from tree to tree, collecting the oozing blood in a cup. The cup became full of blood. The man approached John. "Drink," the man said. John stood petrified, unable to react, unable to move. Then he would wake up. What do you think about nightmare?
That for a 10-year-old, that's intense. I did always think that the crucifixion story was way too adult to be told to children, but yet it was. I don't know if it still is. It probably is.
Yeah.
It stuck with me. I don't know about you.
What?
It really upset me, the crucifixion story.
Jesus being crucified?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to think about what age we tell children that story. But I was also thinking of whether do you have a dream that was that childhood reoccurring dream. For me, it was a carnival setting and I was being chased and going down like all these kind of windy slides, which should be fun, but not when you're being chased by a murderer. That was my dream. That's what it made me think. I haven't thought about that dream in years because, like, obviously not a kid anymore, but that was my dream. Did you have one?
I had a reoccurring nightmare where, oh God, even when I think about it, it still freaks me out, where I am like a dead body, and yeah, and I'm like in like a thicket of like brambles in a ditch, and I'm dead, and I feel cold, and I can see, I'm looking at like train tracks, and there's like a train that goes past, and like nobody knows I'm there, and the train just goes whizzing past, and I'm dead, and I can't move.
Oh my God, that sounds like Stand By Me.
Yeah, right. Maybe it was that. Maybe that scared me.
Maybe that's where it came from.
Yeah.
I've never had a movie where I'm dead. A dream.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I had another one as well where I was in like a prison type thing, and
you watching Prison Break?
Prison Break. All my nightmares come from TV.
I have a movie that was very similar to Prison Break, by the way. You should watch it.
But like in my dream, if I touched the wall for some reason, like I couldn't escape, and if I touched the wall, I would turn into an alien.
Okay, Maria. All right. I'm taking drugs now at this point.
Yeah, but the dead body one was the most reoccurring. It was really freaky.
Okay,
yeah.
Mine was the carnival one. So anyway, so your man's dream at 10 years old is very telling, I think, for where this is all gonna go. But then we all have messed up dreams. It doesn't mean you manifest them and you start. Although it doesn't sound like he's going to act them out, because the acid bath doesn't really sound like a lot of blood. I don't know. Yeah, I'm very interested to see where this is going to go.
After high school, John worked as a motor engineer apprentice for a short time. Then, when he was 21, he dabbled in office work, but was promptly fired after being suspected of stealing the cash box.
Oh dear. I thought you were going to say like Post-its or something. Okay, stole the money. That's pretty bad.
Yeah. As John entered his early 20s, he noticed that his questionable and unchristian behaviour, lying, cheating, stealing, did in fact not leave a mark of Satan on his forehead. He thought, perhaps my father was lying to me all these years. Perhaps God didn't watch me all the time, and maybe he didn't care that I sinned. Or perhaps God doesn't exist at all, thought John.
John's thinking. But just because there's not somebody watching you at all times doesn't mean you can do heinous shit
Yeah.
either.
I know.
It's like he's gone the total opposite way. Well, he's going to go.
John felt freed from his prison. He felt he could do anything he wanted, and he felt like he was invincible. He lived under such scrutiny, such rules, and fear, and now he's older. He's like, I can do anything I fucking want.
Oh my God.
In 1934, when John was 25, two major life-changing events happened for John. The first major life event was in July. John married 23-year-old Betty Hammer.
That's such a cool name.
I know, it reminds me of
sounds like a rock star. Betty Hammer. Yes.
John and Betty had only been dating for a short time and barely knew each other. However, she shrugged off her doubts. John dressed well, he had excellent manners, and was very charming.
Tick, tick, tick. Married. Oh my God.
What
year is this again?
1934.
Ah, yeah. Different times.
He was middle class.
If he dressed well, you'd marry him.
And he's like super, like, he's like middle class from a respected Christian family, like,
yeah,
and he's got a trade, and the dad's got a trade in the business and stuff like this, and you're like,
looks good on paper. Yeah.
The second major life event was in October. A few months later, after getting married, he was arrested and sent to prison for fraud.
What did he do?
I had a look, and it's hard to know, but he used to like pretend to be like a lawyer or a doctor, and like he used to always pretend to be professional, and then like people would give him money and he would give them bad advice. And then you
do shit like that back in the day, couldn't you?
Poor Betty had her doubts about John's character, but didn't think he was duping people out of money. Then, while in prison, Betty finds out that she's pregnant, and she gives birth to a baby girl. Betty immediately places the baby up for adoption.
Oh.
Yeah. Betty met John one last time in prison. She wanted a divorce. John told her, look, we were never married in the first place.
What?
Uh-huh. So she left.
It was a fake marriage?
And the thing is that it wasn't even a fake marriage. He just lied to her and they were still married.
Oh,
Yeah.
this guy.
Yeah.
Come on, girl. You need to look into these things. Oh.
I know.
See, I see how she could believe that, though, because he had frauded other people, and
Yeah.
she's just like, oh, he's frauded me as well.
Mhm.
But you gotta look into these things. Oh, my God.
John's family ostracized him after that onwards. And they never spoke again after that.
They were embarrassed about the fraud.
The fraud and ex-husband and the baby was put up for adoption. What a mess. All in 1 year.
Ex-wife, isn't it?
Yeah, he's an ex-wife. He's got an ex-wife. He's an ex-con.
Well, he doesn't.
Oh, he does. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, so they've disowned him. Okay.
Yeah, he's out. He's out. When John was
I'd be
released...
happy to be out of that family.
Yeah. So this is when he moves to London.
Reinvent himself in the worst way possible, probably.
He's released from prison a few years later in 1936 and he moves to London where he secures a job as a driver to an affluent man, William McSwan.
Oh, I love that name. Great names in this.
Isn't there, right?
McSwan? What?
McSwan.
Love it.
William ran a couple of amusement arcades throughout London, all owned by the McSwan family. With the two men spending hours alone together in the car, naturally a friendship blossomed, which grew...
I thought you were going to say something else.
I know, I sort of paused for like no reason.
You set that up. Okay.
Okay, which even grew into a friendship with the McSwan family. So John has sort of got like a surrogate family.
Mm-hmm.
When the McSwans found out that John was an engineer, they were like, oh, well, they employed John to maintain the arcade games as well. This could have been a turning point for John, but no. He wanted more money and power, and he wanted it now. He didn't want to work for it, he wanted it immediately. So, to the disappointment of the McSwans, he left. He decided to be a lawyer. He had, of course, read many law books while in prison, so he went and set up a fake practice, pretended to be a lawyer, fake diplomas, and he doled out information on all these poor, unsuspecting victims.
Oh, God.
He also sold fraudulent stock shares, saying the stocks were from the estates of like these dead clients. And of course, these estates and clients and these stocks did not exist. He was just swindling people out of money.
Okay.
His scam was uncovered by a quote-unquote client who noticed that John had misspelled Guildford on his letterhead. He spelt it Guildford instead of Guildford.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, come on.
Why did that alert him?
But like, he's meant to be a lawyer and he's got a practice. And it's like,
Sweet.
And the address is like in Guildford. But he spelled Guildford wrong.
The address of the practice is in Guildford?
Yeah.
Oh, you get your own practice
It's
address?
just like,
Oh,
you're getting your own, on the letterhead. So it's like, the stationery where it's printed.
Yeah. And that's actually legal information at the bottom of a letterhead, so...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, so I understand now why that alerted him. Okay.
I can't believe it was a spelling mistake. I mean,
I know, it's
Jesus.
so avoidable, yeah.
John received a 4-year prison sentence for fraud. While John was raking in money during these schemes and frauds, he enjoyed living lavishly, staying in hotels, drinking and eating out, and he loved to gamble. So, while incarcerated, John obsessed over new schemes to become rich quickly. He didn't want to work and save for a living. In 1939, just after the start of World War II, John was released from prison again. While on parole, he stayed with the Stephen family, where he began a relationship with their teenage daughter, Barbara.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so John is like 30, and this teenager is like 13. I know. So, yeah.
Did the parents know?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
John continued to fraud people out of money, impersonating a lawyer and an investor, starting businesses and taking money, then just closing the businesses and leaving. And then, wouldn't you know it, he was arrested again. So this is like John's 3rd or 4th time in prison, and he's getting bitter. He's getting really bitter that he keeps winding up in prison.
Okay.
And he figures that the problem is that his victims are squealing on him. And this is why. If they were not alive,
Oh my god.
this would not happen. So while in the prison library, John came across a biography on notorious French murderer George Alexander Surret. George Alexander Surret, like John Haigh, was a swindler and fraudster who graduated to murder when he started pulling life insurance scams. This French murderer, he had disposed of his bodies using sulphuric acid.
Here we go.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, George didn't get away with these crimes because we know about him. George's sister had told on him, and he was found guilty and beheaded.
Whew.
Despite George mirroring John's life, this beheading did not put John off. He was like, no, this is it. I can do it. All he needed to do was to make sure that no one else knew what he was up to. George's problem was that the sister squealed on him. You just don't tell anybody that you're dissolving bodies.
I mean, there's other ways of finding out.
Mm-hmm. No body, no crime, John thought.
He hasn't really thought this through.
Mm-mm. With plenty of time and access to sulphuric acid from the prison tin workshop, John started experimenting.
Wait a minute, he had access to acid in the prison workshop?
Mm-hmm. Isn't that bananas?
Okay.
I know. I feel like that's just like so dangerous that you could throw it at a guard or another prisoner or something.
Yeah.
Like what? Ridiculous. He started experimenting on mice.
Oh, stop.
I know. He would take notes and timings of the effects that the acid had on the rodent's skin.
Dude.
Mm-hmm. Eventually, John worked his way up and he was able to calculate that a cup of acid would take only like 30 minutes for the mouse's body to fully dissolve. No, that's so gross. In 1943, John was released from prison and snagged himself an accounting job at an engineering firm. A year later, when John is about 35, he has a car accident, and in this accident he was struck in the head. As he lay in the car, the blood from the head wound trickled down his face and went into his mouth.
Oh.
This reignited the blood-filled nightmares he had had when he was a child. After the car accident, John decided to get the ball rolling on the sulphuric acid murders. He rented a basement on Gloucester Road, converting it into a death workshop. One day, while at the pub, he had happened to bump into William McSwan. Remember the man he used to chauffeur for?
Yes.
So, remember, they had become quite friendly. John was even friendly with William's parents, Donald and Amy McSwan. During a later McSwan family reunion, the McSwans told John of their recent investments in property. They no longer were just running arcades, but were now renting out multiple properties. And William, their son, was collecting their rents. John was jealous of William. Handed a cushy job and lifestyle, John thought that should be him. After socialising with William for a few weeks, John carried out his plan. On the 9th of September 1944, John lured his friend William down to the death workshop he had built on Gloucester Road. When William had his back turned, John picked up a lead pipe and cracked William over the head with it.
Oh, God.
Instead of just killing William, John had a taste for blood in his mouth. He then pulled out a knife and slit William's throat.
Oh.
John grabbed a mug off the table.
Stop.
And caught
Stop it.
the trickling blood
Stop.
and drank it.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it was just a dream. You don't have to...
Yeah.
What? How can a dream affect someone that much that they want to recreate it? That's
I know.
So weird.
I know.
It's so weird because to have two different tropes, like, so he's the acid bath guy, we obviously know that's going to happen, but he's also this kind of like vampire guy, like drinking the blood. Like, there's a lot going on.
There's
Choose
a lot.
Thing. Like,
Yeah.
what?
This story is bananas. I can't believe it's not more famous.
Yeah, I'm like, there's going to be an acid bath soon. We know that. Like, he's drinking a mug of blood right now.
Right, it's
He's got a death workshop basement.
Yeah. Like,
like
what
a
the
horror
fuck?
movie.
Yeah, right?
Oh.
After John quenched his thirst,
Oh.
he rolled out a 40-gallon barrel.
Breaking Bad.
I know! I was thinking of Breaking Bad when I was writing this, yeah. He shoved his dead friend inside it and then filled it up with sulphuric acid.
Stop.
Of course, having only experimented with mice, John did not anticipate the overwhelming amount of toxic fumes. He nearly passed out. He had to run outside to gasp for air.
Oh, boo-hoo. How is he going to dispose of these barrels? He's going to put them on a truck or something? Or...
We'll just have to see.
You know what I mean? You can't just fill a basement with barrels of liquid people.
I know, right?
Mm.
Later, he covered the drum and went back home to sleep, as his former employer and friend dissolved into a liquid sludge.
Oh, it's disgusting.
John let the acid dissolve William for 2 days. When John did return, there was little more than thick, lumpy sludge left in the barrel. John then wheeled the barrel out the back, opened up a manhole, and tipped William McSwan down the drain of Gloucester Road.
Oh my God.
I know.
So would that be like the sewage, or what would that be?
Yeah. Like just the sewage, yeah? Isn't that disgusting?
That's horrible.
Isn't
to
it?
do that to someone,
Isn't it?
Mix them with the sewage. Oh man.
I know.
Oh, so okay, that's how he's disposing of them. It's actually smart, but it's disgusting.
I know.
There must have been that must have been quite close to him.
Yeah, I think he chose a basement that was super close to a...
Yeah, because that barrel's going to be heavy.
So John was actually quite pleased with himself after this. He didn't have any regret or remorse. This was his plan.
It all went very well, didn't it?
Yeah, and it worked out. He had killed someone and removed all traces of them, and no one was the wiser. Like, no one knew what was going on.
Oh, chuffed with himself.
John put on his best acting face and managed to convince Donald and Amy McSwan that their son had at the last minute decided to flee to Scotland as he was scared of being drafted. Remember, World War II is still going on. The McSwans believed John. They had no reason not to. He was a family friend. They're like, okay, right, William must be really scared of getting drafted. So, okay, we'll see him in a year or so. John committed to this bit. He sent fake postcards from Scotland pretending to be William. This pretending entered into the real world too. Eventually, he took over William's life. He moved into the McSwan family home.
Oh my God.
Lived in William's bed. Yeah. And then took his job and started collecting McSwan's rent.
Oh my God. It's like the talented Mr. Ripley, except
It is.
the family are aware that he's doing it.
I love that movie.
Oh, I love that movie.
So good.
Yeah, it's so good.
I have to watch it again. It's been a while. Jaren's never seen it.
But yeah, Zara only's just seen it the other day. She was telling me.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie. I don't know why it's not more...
I think it's the title. I remember Mummy would talk about the talented Mr. Ripley. And it sounds like a period drama.
That's what I was just about to say. I think you thought it was a period drama.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm not watching all your frilly frocks shit. I don't want to watch
but it's
that.
actually such a good movie.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Where are we? Oh, yeah. However, this was not enough. Taking over William McSwan's life, taking his job and his home and his parents was not enough. He was biding his time. John was ready for his next kills. Who do you think it will be?
Oh, God.
Who do you think he's going to kill?
Is it someone close to him? Or God, like his father or something? Or...
Oh, no.
No.
He is after Donald and Amy McSwan.
Ah, jeekers. He wants to take the whole family out.
Oh.
And is that beneficial? Is he got them to put him in the will or something? Or
No, he's not in their will.
Oh, why does he want to kill him?
But he was biding his time. He had a few upgrades he wanted to invest in. He was in no rush. He bought a stirrup pump. So I didn't know what that was. It is...
I've heard. Okay.
It is the pump that you pump with your hands, and it looks like a pogo stick.
Okay.
So he bought that. So he's like investing. Like he has no remorse.
Yeah.
Like no doubts about murdering with.
Is that to pump the sludge out?
Yeah. So he's like, how can I make this easier for me to do?
Dude.
It's like so premeditated. He also bought face gas masks so he could breathe. He didn't get overwhelmed by the fumes again.
Dude. If he took this energy he has and if he put it towards, you know,
Actually
a
working.
real job, or so, you know, like,
So I know.
you know,
This is way more work than, you know, being an engineer. Why wasn't he just an engineer like his dad?
I don't know. I guess this sparks something in it.
Mm-hmm. And he also bought the infamous steel bathtub.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
God.
So it's been a year since he killed William, and he's been just living his life. And the McSwans, the parents, they start to become curious as to why their son had not came home yet. The war was coming to an end, and he definitely wouldn't be
So
drafted.
maybe this is why he has to kill them.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah. They're asking questions, and John is just like, right, now's the time. John needed to get the McSwans to the death workshop on Gloucester Road. So John told Donald and Amy that William had actually returned for a surprise visit in secret. And William was like, no one can find out. It has to be at night time, has to be very secretive, because he is still convinced that he's going to be drafted, says John. So the McSwans are like, okay, whatever, yes, we want to see our son. So John convinced the McSwans to come to the basement to meet William. That's where William is. The excited McSwans agreed, and they rushed there to see their son. As Donald and Amy stood in the basement, John thumped the pensioners in the face and head. But the ritual was still not complete. Again, John slit their throats, gathered it, and drank their blood.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of blood, 2 people.
Yeah.
Also, it is warm at that point as
I
well.
know.
That's disgusting.
I never
Isn't
even
it just
realised
how
that.
disgusting that is?
It didn't even occur to me that it would be warm, yeah.
I would be warm. Like, blood, like, I feel like we've all tasted blood, right? It's not like the worst taste in the world, but if it's a cup full of it and it's warm, oh, dude.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh, no, that's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
John then lifted and slid the couple into the new steel bath. He put on his new face mask and pumped the bath full of acid. When William's parents were dissolved, he drained the bath into the gutter outside.
Oh, my God.
John wasted no time to claim the McSwans' pension checks. He was also able to forge their signatures and sign all of the McSwans' property over to George Haigh, which he promptly sold. So he sold all of their properties that they were making money on. It's like he didn't even steal their life. He sold it all just for cash, for money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's really motivated by money.
Isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
John told the McSwans' friends and family the couple were vacationing in America. John then quickly cleaned and vacated the Gloucester Road basement. And like that, he was off.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So he spent the money by living in the Kensington Hotel. And he would spend his days drinking and eating and gambling.
What?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's motivated by money, but he is not good with money. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
There was properties he could have lived in and he decided to live in a hotel?
Mm-hmm.
What a lazy prick. Wanted someone to make his food every day.
Uh-huh.
What the hell?
Mm-hmm. It's quite...
Is the Kensington really posh? Yeah.
I think so, yeah. I didn't look it up. Should I
Okay.
look it up? Kensington. It sounds
Is it
posh.
still there? Nah, it's probably not there. It does sound posh, yeah. But them things had names like that back then, though.
That's true. Oh, yes, it is. It's all... Oh, it's very fancy.
It's still
White.
there. The Kensington
is.
Hotel.
Oh, God, he lived in
Mhm.
there. Oh, that's so creepy.
Wait, it can't be the same building. Do you think the building's still...
Yeah.
Does look like an old building, all right. Isn't London funny? Like, I could say I definitely walked on that street, but
Yeah.
like, I probably didn't. It's all look the same to me.
Yeah, a lot of London looks the same.
Oh, it looks really nice.
I do
that
like these
hotel.
old-fashioned buildings. I think they're really pretty.
Yeah, they're beautiful. Okay, so that's where he stayed. Oh my god, could you imagine having a legacy like that?
I know, right? It's like the Cecil Hotel.
That's just what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about this hotel that I'm really paranoid now. I need to look up what hotel we stayed in that time I was last in London, because I swear to God, Miriam, no, it wasn't that, but I swear to God, I kind of wish it was that, if I had known. Okay.
So he's at the Kensington Hotel, drinking and gambling his days away. Well, that is for 2 years, until he runs out of money.
Oh my God.
Isn't that bananas? Like, he eaten through the McSwan's empire in 2 years. They built an empire and he squandered it in 2 years.
That's bonkers.
By 1947, he's broke. His plan had worked. He just needed to do it again. So enter the unsuspecting and younger couple, Dr. Archibald and his wife, Rose Henderson.
Loving these names. Archibald and Rose. Oh my God.
That is where we will pick it up next week.
Ooh. I feel like it's not good for these guys. It's not looking good.
It's not. No.
Oh God.
Nobody has a happy ending in this story, by the way.
Okay. Oh, I can't wait to find out what happens to him in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Sure, we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Slán Awalia.
Bye-bye. Rate, review and subscribe.
Rate, review and subscribe.
Me Time and Murder would like to thank and acknowledge our sources that make this podcast possible. References can be found on our Instagram page.
Did you see that somebody went out and bought Pucca Chai vanilla tea, whatever it is, the one that you're always drinking? And then they bought my dreamy Marks and Spencer's tea as well. Did you see?
Up. No, I didn't see that. When did that happen?
They tagged us in their Instagram post. I was just like, being inspired by Me Time and Murder to try these teas. And I was like, oh my God.
I missed that. That is so cute.
Yeah.
Warning: Me Time and Murder is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Oh, for God's sake, here
Dancing
it goes.
around him, reciting poetry.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
No. Why? Oh, well, big surprise.
Oh God. Dead on the bathroom floor.
Did it? Okay. Oh.
Tres, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking the Pucca 3 ginger tea.
Lovely.
My favourite. What are you drinking today, Marion?
I am drinking my Marks and Spencer's strawberry tea. Nice. Strawberry and raspberry.
Hot or cold?
Hot. It's October, so it's getting a bit chilly over here.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Let me see.
What temperature are we talking?
What was the weather today? 26 degrees.
Shut up.
What?
Are you being serious?
Yeah. So it's getting cold.
Marion, that's hot. I just came back from a holiday in Lisbon, and like when it was 23, I was like, so hot. Over here, one sec, my watch will
I'm
tell
looking
me.
at
It's currently
it's
9 degrees.
9
over
degrees?
here.
Wow, that is cold.
And
It's going to rain tomorrow, apparently.
It says it's raining right now on my watch, but I'm looking outside and it's not raining. I remember that time we went to Japan and I thought, I don't know, I just thought it's not going to be cold. And it was.
Yeah.
Do you
Japan
remember?
was freezing, wasn't it?
Do you remember how cold it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were not prepared.
I did not have, no,
No.
I did not have. I just kind of layered loads of like tops.
I
And
don't know why we thought it would. I don't know. Because we go on
I don't
holiday
know.
to the heat. So we're
I
like,
know.
holiday
I was so
is...
naive.
yeah,
And, like
so-
some days it was nice, but it dropped down to about, definitely it was around like 9, 10, something like that at some points. Anyway.
Oh, what about your me time?
Me time, I'm actually putting on some nail polish. It's Barry M Rose Tinted Jelly Nail Paint Blush. So that is a really
That's a long name.
it's a pink nail polish. What about you? What are you doing?
I have got my Olaplex in.
Oh, nice. How is that going?
So I figured out that I was actually doing it wrong. I was like,
Oh, shit.
I don't know if I left it in one of the recordings, but I was like, it was like I could feel it on my hair. I was like, why is it?
Yes,
like,
I
could-
remember you saying.
Oh
yeah.
God! And then I was reading the instructions again, and it's like you're actually. I thought you're meant to rinse it out. You're meant to wash it out, like shampoo it out.
Okay. Okay.
I was like, ah,
right. Yeah.
so I'm sort of basically starting from scratch again.
Okay. So you'll give an update in another few weeks. I'm sure it was still doing something to your
I'm
hair.
sure it
though.
didn't do anything bad, but I also
Yeah.
dyed my hair darker. I put some brown in
Did
it.
you?
Yeah, just
Right.
like darken it. It was just. I love being blonde, but like if you just keep adding blonde, you just get blonder and blonder and blonder, and then the roots come back so strong. So I just add some brown to like darken it up. Also, it's coming into winter, so
Nice. Yeah.
the one thing though is that I think I look so pale with the dark hair, so then I have to start putting on fake tan. It's like,
That is the issue.
with the dark hair makes you look even whiter.
That is
Yeah.
the problem. Yeah. I wish I had blonde hair so that I didn't have to put on tan.
Yeah,
It's so tempting to go blonde just for that, but
yeah.
I just have so much hair that I don't know.
It'd be too expensive.
I think it'd be too expensive, and then do you know what? Like, my hair would probably like not fall out. It's very dramatic, but you know, it would probably like
It's not good
be
for your
able to
hair.
keep it at the same length. Yeah, it probably wouldn't ever be the same if I did it. But
Mhm.
I know. I think when I'm older, I'll have to. I'm going grey.
Really?
Right, so me time update for you.
Oh,
I have a
yeah?
lot of greys.
Where?
Yeah.
I have a few
But
grays.
like at my temple, above my ears, on both sides.
I think that's where mummy started
that
to go
is where-
grey.
Yeah, that is. I think where most women start is that weird area. Now it's underneath. It's not like on the top of my head or anything.
Mhm.
But if I scrape my hair up into a ponytail, you can see it. So I never wear a
Really?
ponytail anyway. Yeah, you can see it.
I've got mine right at the top of my forehead.
Ah,
Yeah.
no. But then see, you're blonde. You'll get away with it. You can't see,
See, that's
it.
the thing. Yeah, you can't really see it that
With
much.
with my hair, you can see it. So it's becoming an issue.
Remember, Kathleen got. I don't know if this is proper grey or if it's like stress, because you can like get grey
Oh,
hairs
yeah, she
from
got
stress.
a streak.
Yeah, do you remember Kathleen got a streak? And mine's
I
in the
thought that was
same
kinda cool.
spot as where Kathleen's is.
Oh,
And
is it?
Yeah, it's like at the top of my forehead.
Oh, maybe you got the same thing.
I don't know, maybe it is. But like, I remember she used to just have to just dye that one piece of hair.
Oh, it
Yeah.
wasn't there like a character on like X-Men that had that?
That's right.
She got struck by lightning or
Was it
something. What was she called?
Not Storm.
The
One, it was Anna
she was
Paquin.
Wolverine's friend. Yeah, I never really liked her that much.
Oh, I don't like.
Maybe I was just jealous of her in Romeo and Juliet.
She was in Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
No, you're getting her confused with
Oh,
Claire,
am I?
Claire Danes.
Oh yes, I'm getting confused. Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was the same girl. Okay. Yeah. Who like I don't know. Grey hair. Ugh. It's just a constant battle. I should just let my body be what I want to be.
No, I will hold on to
It
my
wants
youth.
to be pale
No.
and grey. Just stop tanning, stop dyeing everything.
No, never. Okay, so we are on episode 2 of the Acid Bath Murderer. Do you want
God, I'm
to
so excited.
fill everybody in of what's been going on, Trez?
Oh Lord, there's a lot. Oh my God, why have I forgotten his name? No, it'll come to me.
Begins with a J.
John.
Yes.
It's such a basic
I
name
know.
that I just
Forgot that name.
Yeah, so John, what's his surname?
Hey.
Hay, John Hay. Rough religious upbringing. I would obviously recommend listening to the first episode, but he had a rough religious upbringing, and he's motivated by money.
Mm-hmm.
He became a fraudster, and now he's moved on to being a fraudster and a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
He murdered a family that he was very close with and that looked after him in his basement by turning them to sludge through acid
Mm-hmm.
and pouring them into the drain into the sewer in London.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's left that basement, lived in a hotel at Kensington for 2 years and blew through all that family's money. He killed all the family.
Mm-hmm.
And now his eyes set on a new couple. They must be rich. What are they called? The
Hendersons.
Hendersons. They must be wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to befriend them, or he's already friends. Where did he meet them, I wonder? Was it in the Kensington, or?
Oh, we're going to get into it.
Okay, all right.
And he had the crazy nightmares.
Oh, yeah.
Where there was a man making him drink blood, and then so when
Mm-hmm.
he killed the McSwans, he drank their blood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, creepy
Mhm.
shit like that, yeah.
It's a big part of his, yeah.
A lot going on.
So he's into it as well. Like, I think he told himself, oh, I'm just killing them so I can get away with my fraud, but he's loving
Yeah,
this.
he's enjoying the murders, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, so that's where we are, just if you have forgotten. So, again, thank you to our Patreon, Stephanie Leader, for recommending this case and for supporting Me Time and Murder. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, so last episode we left off with the younger couple, Dr. Archibald and his wife, Rose Henderson. So John Haigh targeted his next victims, the Hendersons. The Hendersons had recently moved house and were selling their old one. So John pretended that he was interested in buying, so he went and visited the open house. After this meeting, the Hendersons were quite taken by John. They spoke about properties and passion for music. So the Hendersons asked John, hey, why don't you come? We're having a housewarming party. You should come and play the piano for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, John agreed and attended the party, and everything went without a hitch. He didn't kill anybody at this party. It was all
Okay.
fine, rubbing shoulders. Except for when he sneakily stole Dr. Henderson's revolver.
Oh, no.
Over the next few weeks, John got close with the Hendersons as he reassembled his workshop of death.
Oh, my God.
This time in Sussex. He reassembled his workshop and ordered some more sulphuric acid. On the 12th of February 1948, John told Dr. Henderson that he had an invention he had engineered in his workshop, and he asked the doctor, would you come and check it out, take a look? The Hendersons agreed, and together all three drove to John's Sussex workshop.
Oh, my God. What do they think it is?
I know, I don't.
Oh.
Mrs. Henderson waited in the car while Dr. Henderson walked down the basement stairs and entered the dark basement workshop. John stood behind Dr. Archibald Henderson and pointed his own revolver at the doctor.
Mm.
John then shot him in the back of the head. John ran back upstairs quickly, and panically he told Mrs. Henderson that Archibald had fallen over ill. So of course she jumps out of the car and runs down to go see her sick husband. But as she stood in the basement, most likely looking at her husband dead on the floor, John shot Rose in the back of the head.
Oh, God.
John claimed that he slit the Hendersons' throats and drank their blood.
Oof.
Like the McSwan family, John placed the Hendersons in acid-filled baths and left them to dissolve over the next few days, during which he forged the Hendersons' signatures and sold all their possessions, all except their car and their pet dog, which he kept. He just kept their dog.
Remember how his friends were dogs when he was a kid?
You're right, yeah, because he had no friends. He only liked the pets.
He likes dogs more than he likes people.
John also gave Mrs. Henderson's clothes and other items to his girlfriend, Barbara.
Or he's still with Barbara?
Yes, Barbara is
Wait a minute,
still about.
the 13-year-old?
Yes.
What age is she now?
I think she's like 15. And he's like,
Oof.
he's like 32 or something. It's like, ugh.
So wrong.
It's
Oh
so
my
wrong.
God.
So gross. I don't even know how you can be attracted to, obviously, like, I understand
don't.
pedophilia, but I just like...
But see, I don't
It's
think
just
they viewed it as pedophilia back then.
No, back then, no.
But it was.
Yeah, it was. I didn't think of it in
Because
that
she
way.
would have looked like a child.
That's the thing. I'm like, I work with like 12-year-olds, and I'm just like, who could ever find you attractive? You're just...
It's well, I don't know. I think sometimes when people say it's an illness, like people get angry because they feel like it's an excuse. But
Yeah. I don't know.
It's the worst. Oh, this poor girl.
I know.
Okay.
Poor Barbara's still...
So he's still with Barbara, and she's getting this, like, full-grown woman's clothes. I'm sure she doesn't even want those.
Mm-hmm. And he's doing all this, and he's still, like, juggling the girlfriend.
And whose family did she come from again?
She came from, when he was on parole, he had to stay with a family
Oh, yeah.
who would, like, monitor him or whatever. And
Okay,
she was the daughter.
Okay, so she's still with him. She with him while he was staying in the hotel for 2 years.
I believe so.
This is very weird.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think that she'd be confused, like, where are you getting all this money from?
What? Yeah, like, what is he at? Okay.
John returned to the Sussex workshop a few days later to dispose of the bodies. However, this time, it was a little bit different. A bit lazy this time.
Oh.
The new space he had rented did not have access to a manhole drain like the Gloucester Road workshop did. John this time chose to dispose of the bodies on a pile of rubbish in the corner of the garden.
What an idiot.
Or sorry, not rubbish, rubble. So there's like, bricks and lumps of clay.
What on earth?
And he just dumps it on the top.
What?
However, Dr. Henderson had not fully dissolved. Floating in the acid bath was a partially dissolved foot.
Oh my God.
Unbothered by this, John just tipped it out and left it on top of the rubble. Just a foot.
Okay, so John has gone crazy at this point. If that doesn't bother him, if he doesn't notice it, he's either gone insane or he's gone... He's not cockiness, because that's just stupidity. So I think he's gone insane at this point. What do you think?
No,
he wouldn't just
because he's still planning. You know what I mean? He's rented the workshop and stuff like that. I think it is.
I know, but his job's not done. It's the foot. You can't just... Well, unless the garden is a really secretive area that you thought no one's going to find it anyway.
I think he really did think he was invincible and nobody would ever twig.
Okay.
Over the next few months, John had to maintain the impression that the Hendersons were still alive. So he wrote letters to Rose's brother, informing him that his sister and brother-in-law had went on a trip. Rose,
so, like, talented Mr. Ripley.
It is, right?
Oh.
Rose's brother reacted unexpectedly and informed John that if he didn't hear from his family, he would go to the police. So this didn't happen with the McSwans. People were just like, okay, they're vacationing, no questions asked. But this new guy is like causing problems. John had to come up with something convincing. So he told him that actually, they're not on holiday. The Hendersons had to flee to South Africa because Dr. Henderson carried out an illegal abortion. So you can't tell anybody, blah, blah, blah. So this excuse did the trick.
I love how abortions were like illegal, but you can be dating a 13-year-old.
Right? Jesus.
Oh, what?
Yep.
Okay. Right.
So it's been a few months since John Haigh has murdered Dr. Archibald and Rose Henderson. And John is running out of money again. So in June 1948, a few months after John murdered the Hendersons, John claimed that his car was stolen to claim the insurance money. However, it was later found by the police smashed at the foot of a cliff. John told Barbara that he wrote off the car as he needed the car insurance money. This is when Barbara became suspicious of her soon-to-be husband. He's murdering people and stealing their money, but he's also still wheeling and dealing on the side, like with like these insurance scams and stuff. He's got lots of stuff going on all the time, and he's still hemorrhaging money.
I know, it's never enough.
What on earth is he doing? I mean, like, how much are you allowed to gamble? Can you just put down whatever you want? Like,
I know. It's very unethical kind of field, isn't it? To just be taking people's money like that.
So while he's living this high life, he's living at an exclusive London hotel. I can't remember what it's called.
Kensington?
I think he might be still at the Kensington. He might be at a different one.
Okay.
You got to try them all, darling.
Oh.
It is while living at this exclusive hotel that he meets and befriends the much older lady and socialite, Mrs. Olive Durand Deacon, a 69-year-old widow.
Uh-oh.
John introduced himself to Olive as an engineer, and she was delighted to hear this because she had a great idea for artificial fingernails.
Oh my god.
So
Did she like invent this?
should we tell people what happened?
If you want.
So Trez's recording just stopped.
Yeah.
And we lost a few minutes, so we had to redo this all
So this
over.
is my acting voice. This is my surprise. Oh my god, fingernails.
I feel like we had such a good conversation about all of
I
her
know.
fingernails, and it's gone.
It's very hard to recreate. I don't think you can recreate it.
We can't recreate it anyway. But we were talking
So
about
if something
Olive's
feels
great-
off, that's what it is.
Yeah. Oh well. So John told Olive, "Give me a few weeks, and I'll see what I can do for you and your fake nails."
Mm-hmm.
So she's delighted. She's so excited. On the 18th of February, 1949, a year and 1 week to the day of the Henderson murders, John Haigh lured the old and frail Olive to his workshop with the promise of showing her artificial fingernails. Can you imagine? She's so excited to go down and see
She'd be
them.
so excited. It's awful.
Aww. Once there, John shot Olive Durand Deacon in the base of her skull.
Mm.
He was still holding on to Dr. Henderson's gun. John then stripped Olive of all of her jewellery, valuables and fur coat. He then dropped her in the steel bath and tipped it full of sulphuric acid. 2 days later, Olive's friend Constance filed a missing person report, and now, finally, detectives are on the case.
Woohoo!
Something's being done.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't take police long to learn that Olive had been spending her time with another hotel resident, John Haigh. This was also the man she was last seen with.
Mm.
So all of this is new to you now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No more acting. The acting is over.
Yeah. Oh, thank God. I'm not good at it.
Upon further inspection of John Haigh, the police found his lengthy rap sheet for fraud, stealing, swindling, and possible car insurance schemes.
Mm-hmm.
Elsewhere, and oblivious to the police investigation, John Hay's problems are piling up. The money he stole from Olive does not cover the debt and loans that he owes. He tried to lure other wealthy hotel residents to the Sussex workshop of death, but with no success. Also, Rose Henderson's brother is writing and bothering John again. This time he has actually contacted the London police. He says that there's been a death in the family and he needs to contact his sister, but this John guy will not share the address. John realised that this brother was a loose end, an issue not about to end anytime soon. John wrote a letter to Rose's brother, but before he could send it into his hotel room, charged the police, and he was under arrest.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
He took a lot of people down.
Didn't he?
Yeah.
So, John Haigh was mistakenly of the opinion that nothing would be found in his workshops.
Mm-hmm.
When questioned by the police, he only ever responded, "No body, no crime, no punishment." However, he was soon to realise that this is in fact not the case. Police, detectives and prosecutors had a mountain of forensic hard evidence. Police found John's briefcase. In it was a dry cleaner's receipt for Olive's fur coat, as well as... I know.
What an idiot. That's right, he gave... he gave the Henderson ladies clothes to
I think he
Barbara,
probably
his
gave
girlfriend.
all of the stuff to Barbara. He probably gave the fur
Barbara
coat to
don't
Barbara too.
want some 69-year-old's clothes.
Right.
I don't know, fur coats are expensive.
They are expensive. Yeah, maybe he sold the coat.
Yeah, I feel like he's probably going to sell it.
They also found legal papers referring to the Hendersons and the McSwans' properties. So he's holding on to all of this
Yes.
evidence in his briefcase.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned before, the workshop in Sussex did not contain an accessible drain, manhole or gutter anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And even though the acid had destroyed most of the evidence, some things remained. Now, these pieces of humans were not just sitting on top of the rubble or in the bottom of the drain. The forensic team had sifted through tons of mud and sludge, wearing rubber gloves and covered in Vaseline to protect them from the acid. Can you imagine being those and they have to go through it with their hands?
Oh, it's the worst. That is the worst.
Oh, so gross.
Mm-hmm.
The forensic team found the following items: the handle of a red plastic bag, a lipstick container, intact upper and lower dentures, 18 fragments of human bone, 3 gallstones, part of a left foot, and
What's your man?
yeah,
Anderson's.
and 28 pounds of human body fat.
Oh, so fat doesn't like to dissolve in the acid?
It probably floated to the top, right?
Okay. Right.
Oh, that's so gross.
28 pounds of human fat. Oh my god. Okay.
With the mountain of evidence growing, John knew he was not getting away with his murders. He knew that was it. He was done. This is when he asked the lead detective how likely it is to be released from a psychiatric hospital. The detective said he was not allowed to discuss this sort of thing with him. John replied, "Well, if I told you the truth, you wouldn't believe me. It sounds too fantastic to believe." This is when John gave his full confession. He confessed that he had killed Olive Dern Deacon, the McSwans, and the Hendersons, and drank all of their blood. John also
If I was him, I'd leave the blood bit out. People need to know that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think
This is why I do think he's a little insane. But
Yeah.
it does strike me sometimes that sometimes some of the killers, they do give the detail, and I'm like, why are you doing that?
But it's also like he's sort of thinking maybe I can get into an asylum.
If I tell them how crazy it was, yeah. Well, it is crazy.
John also confessed to murdering 3 other people.
We don't know about.
Exactly, yes. A young man called Max, a girl from Eastbourne, and a woman from Hammersmith. However, these claims could never be substantiated or proven.
Right.
Yeah.
Love the name Max.
Max? It's quite a common
That's
name.
cool. Is it?
It is. Yeah.
Nah. Who do you know that's called Max?
I worked with a guy called Max.
Where is he from?
England.
Oh, okay. Huh. It just makes me think of Goofy movie.
Oh, this song was called Max?
He was called Max.
Max Goof.
It just all sounds cool name.
Yeah.
Max.
It makes me think of whenever Homer Simpson changed his name to Max. And
Does he?
He's seen it on the hairdryer and he turned it on to Max Power and he changed his name to Max Power.
Oh, that's right. Max Power. That is a cool name.
That's funny. Max Power.
Anyway, sorry. Where were we?
Of course, John also told the police officer about drinking the blood of his victims, as well as his blood-filled dreams. Psychiatrists were brought in to evaluate John, whether he was fit to stand trial or not. Before the trial, John was examined by several doctors and psychologists. They were all mostly interested in John's claims to have a need to drink blood.
You see, I'm starting to think, and I probably should have twigged to this earlier. Well, I did kind of. Whenever you were reciting the dream, I remember thinking this feels a little bit made up. So did he just make the whole dream thing up and the drinking the blood up?
I know.
Yeah,
and how you meant...
Because it was like, there was too many things going on. I'm like, okay, so the acid bath, but now you're drinking the blood. It just never sit right with me. It was just sort of like too much. So this is now making a lot more sense, I think, that he's made this up.
And he's a compulsive liar. He
So
told his wife that the marriage was fake and it wasn't, and he was like a swindler.
Yeah, he just makes up whatever suits him.
Yeah, so it's hard to know if it is real or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think he's making it up. Yeah, I do.
doctor said in the court that usually compulsions like drinking blood are part of like a sexual deviation related to the act of violence. However, they said that John was not motivated and had very little interest in sex, so they couldn't like see why was he drinking blood. It was very fantastical. However, they did all agree that although he did suffer from mental health issues, he was not insane. The professionals deduced that John had most likely developed a paranoid personality to escape his childhood. The isolated sect that he was brought up in had contributed to a mental state where lines between reality and fantasy were blurred. The doctors agreed that John was egocentric and paranoid. He knew that murder was wrong and had meticulously gone about planning and disposing of multiple murders. But whether or not he drank blood, who is to know?
So he didn't get the insanity he wanted. In your face.
When this came out, it was absolutely huge. It was sensational. And we now know it as the acid bath murderer. But at the time, they were calling him the vampire killer.
See, that's what I said.
Yeah, right.
To drink the... But maybe it's now because we know that maybe he made that up.
Yeah. It was the most sensational crime after World War II, despite there being no doubt in John's guilt. Like, it wasn't like, oh, did he do it? Did he not do it? Everybody knew he did it, but everybody was still obsessed with the case.
Oh, yeah, you would be.
Oh, yeah. On the 18th of July, 1949, 4,000 people crowded this tiny little town called Lewes, where the trial was to be held, all hoping to like get a seat in the courtroom. John had no money, as usual, to pay for his defence, so the News of the World newspaper did a deal with him, and they offered to pay for his counsel in exchange for an exclusive interview.
Oh my god, do people do that?
Isn't that bananas? That's so crazy.
I've never heard of that
Me
happening
neither.
before.
I've never heard of that.
They mustn't be allowed to do that anymore, because, well, it's very unethical. Is it? Well, it is. No, it is.
They're just hiring a lawyer. I don't think they're trying to get him off.
Well, what if they did get him off? Do you know what I mean? And then the newspaper is, it just feels, not, yeah.
Yeah. In court, John confidently continued to plead insanity. John seemed, or at least acted, as though he was unaware of the magnitude of his crimes, even making light banter throughout proceedings.
What?
Right. John's defence called many witnesses to attest to John Hay's childhood and afflicted paranoid mental state, but the prosecution argued back, and they urged that the jury reject John's defence of insanity. And in the end, it was the defence's psychiatrist who failed to prove that John's judgment was impaired, as well as the testimony from the detective when John asked how hard it is to get out of an asylum.
What an idiot.
So that policeman testified and was just like, he asked me this.
But do you think he did? Because that's a really stupid thing to ask.
Isn't it? Also, you could just make that up.
That's what I'm saying. I do believe that he did it, though, so your man didn't have to make that up, but, well, I think people just really didn't want him to get away with the insanity thing, so...
It's very hard to get insanity defence.
Mm.
The prosecution were able to call 33 witnesses to prove premeditation of murder for gain. They laid out the case in a basic chronology, basically the one I just gave to you. It showed how rational John's movements were, and it had not been the actions of someone with diminished responsibility. The prosecution declared that John Haigh was a man who believed he had discovered the perfect crime, committed murder for money, and then pretended he was insane when he was caught.
Yeah. Classic.
In the end, it took the jury only 15 minutes to find him guilty.
Whoa.
Right?
If it was me, I'd want to stay in there a little bit longer just to make it look good. I don't know. That's
Just like, that doesn't seem long enough.
No.
John was sentenced to death by hanging.
Oh, okay.
While in prison awaiting death, John wrote goodbye letters to his parents, who never visited nor responded. Yeah.
Brutal.
He also sent a letter to Barbara,
Oh, God.
who
I forgot about her and all of
she is
How
still
must she
bouncing
be
around.
feeling?
Yeah.
God.
She was the only one who seemed to be affected by the news of John being a serial
Oh.
killer. And she was the only person to visit him in prison.
Oh my God.
When interviewed by reporters, she told them she wanted to understand what kind of man she had got involved with. She said she asked if he would have killed her. He said no. He said he would never. And he seemed genuine. But Barbara knew that at some point she may have succumbed to a similar fate when John would inevitably see her as an inconvenience.
I think he only did it to people who had money.
Yeah, I don't think she was at risk.
No.
Yeah.
But you would be scared. I get that she's scared.
Oh, yeah.
But
It would be scary.
I think maybe if it was like, let's say she found out about one of his murders and then that put him at risk, he might kill her then. I don't know. But close call for her anyway. It's good that she got away.
John also spoke to the News of the World in his exclusive. They reported that he showed no remorse and instead revelled in his revealing of grisly escapades. He loves the attention.
Mm-hmm.
On Wednesday, the 10th of August, 1949, John George Haigh, the acid bath murderer and vampire, had his last meal. Do you know
What do you have?
You want to guess?
Cup of blood. I know, what looks like blood? Spaghetti bolognese. I don't know. What do you have? A bloody steak.
Oh my gosh. Just a glass of brandy.
Wait,
Yeah, that's it.
is this, are you for real?
Yeah, so sad.
Oh, what a
It's
loser.
pathetic.
That is, oh God.
And then he was hung.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
And that's the end?
Madame Tussauds requested a fitting for her death mask and John was happy to oblige. So you can go to Madame Tussauds and see the wax figure of John Haigh was actually a death mask that they did on his own face, on his face when he was dead. The wax figure in Madame Tussauds of John is wearing John's actual clothes.
Stop it.
Isn't that freaky?
God, they really went for it, didn't they?
Right? It's like his
Cool.
face, his real face, and his clothes.
Because, like, yeah, because the other, what are they called, models in Madame Tussauds,
Yeah.
do they all get the moulding of the face? I thought some of them would just be like, they just kind of match it.
I think it's mostly just by hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but then they do this death mask thing. Okay, and now I'm going to look it up right now.
And we will.
John, do you think we seen him in Madam?
We probably did. We just didn't know who he
just
was.
didn't know.
We'll have to just go back and we can go
John Haigh.
to the Kensington Hotel. We can go to the
We
the
could.
Gloucester Road and we'll go to see Madame Tussauds.
Am I spelling his name right? How do you spell
John.
Haigh?
Haigh.
Wait a minute, the wee mustache.
Yeah, he has a moustache.
Not what I
There he
expected
is.
at all. That's really not what I expected. I was expecting like a wild man for some reason.
What do you mean, like crazy looking?
Like a bit more haggard looking. I don't know. I feel like I understand now how he kind of was able to swindle.
Yeah.
Because he looks quite proper.
Doesn't he? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very confident and well spoken.
Yeah.
And he
There's
looks
a
like he
picture.
would have money. He's so put together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Very good. That was a great case.
If you want to see pictures, obviously you can Google too, but we will put them on our
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah, we'll have them on the Instagram.
Oh, and I forgot to say this was a patron. I don't know how to call it.
I think you said it at the start.
Did I?
Yeah.
Stephanie Leader thank you so much for recommending this case and supporting Me Time and Murder.
Yeah, it was a great case. Thank you very much.
But yes, please rate, go to iTunes, give us 5 stars or above.
Sounds like an order.
Yeah. And give us a nice glowing review. When you're there, that's when you can mention what Irish or British case you would like for us to cover. Or you can sponsor us on Patreon and talk to us there, and
Yeah, the link's in the Instagram.
it's all on the Instagram. And it's in the show notes as well. Also, we're going to start, because we've got a few patrons, we're going to start migrating some stuff over to Patreon, releasing episodes on Patreon very soon. So go check us out. Anything else?
No, all good. I'm just going to book my flights to London now. And yeah, it's happening. Kensington Hotel, here we come.
I can't wait till I come back and we do like a little Me Time and Murder tour. We should
Well, we need to. Well, Zara and I really dropped the ball because we were in Dublin there last
You
weekend.
didn't go to Darky
and
Kelly's?
We didn't go to Darky Kelly's. We went to Gino's and got ice cream.
Oh,
So I think you can understand the choice we made. We were exhausted. I had just come back from Lisbon. I've not done so many activities in like
You were
2
so
years.
busy, yeah. You went to see the Heathers, right? Which is also quite
Went
dark.
to see
isn't it?
Heathers, which I did not know it was about murder.
Oh, and you liked it? It was good?
So I was really shocked. I really liked it, yeah. But so we need to do the Darky Kellys, and yes, there's lots we need to do.
There's
We need
lots.
to just do the ghost tour in Dublin as
We
well.
should do the ghost tour, yeah. I think it'd be so fun if we were able to like go to all the places that we've covered. Like even like the beach in Sligo with Bergman. When you
Oh
love that. I love
yes,
that.
yes, that would be good.
Mhm.
Oh,
Little
we
hotel.
almost planned a little
We can
trip.
go look
yeah.
for his purple bags and stuff.
You're not gonna. I hope they're not still in the ocean or in the.
They're in the
Okay,
tip.
yeah. All right, we'll see you on the next one, guys. Slán Amalia.
Bye. The person.
Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck me.
What's wrong?
Fuck me.
What?
QuickTime stopped at some point.
Oh shit.
Should have been watching it. There's not enough available space.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
On your computer?
Yeah. I need to delete all my MeTime files. See, this is quite an old computer.
Oh, right.
I'm so glad I checked that.
Oh,
I don't know,
good.
something inside me just told me to check it.
Me Time and Murder would like to thank and acknowledge our sources that make this podcast possible. References can be found on our Instagram page.